Hi everyone, Joel and Andy at Codebreak on the Stay Hungry podcast. It's an Ahead of the Game episode. Let's go. Andy, second time's a charm.
You pressed the wrong knob.
Yes, I pressed the wrong knob.
That's what happens. You've got so many knobs to play with.
Always playing with knobs.
Well, let's stop that there.
Right.
What are we talking about? We're talking about...
Well, you described it as getting shit done. Mm-hmm. I described it as you can't see the wood for the trees, so how do you solve that?
How can you get shit done?
Basically.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so let's face it, if you're listening and you've got a massive to-do list, or worse, you've got lots of stuff to do and you haven't even put it onto a list, we'll give you some top tips on what's worked for us and what we've seen perhaps not work so well.
I was going to say what hasn't worked, yeah. And most of our listeners are business owners or thinking about starting a business. And I guarantee you now, you will have days where you have no idea how to get through what you need to get done, or you haven't even got the clarity of thought to know what you're meant to be doing. And that isn't a slight on you as a business owner. You haven't failed. It's just something we all go through.
Mm-hmm. I would say, I found the book Eat That Frog, which literally could be read in a sitting. Yeah. It's not that big a book, and it's pretty big print, even for my tired old eyes. And that's a really good book that got some practical tips on getting shit done.
Do you know how you know when you're old?
Go on.
You start talking about the size of print in books.
Yeah, that's.
You've been doing that for a while now.
Yeah, well, we've got our sort of not proper reading glasses, but the ones you pick up for £1 from
the chemist,
from some dodgy market trader. And I knew it's bad when I wanted to do something on the back of the telly. Needed I think it was a HDMI, whatever, to stick in, and basically I had to take a photograph using my phone, and then I could zoom in on the phone to see what the label said. Isn't that? And it happened to you as well. So that's what's getting me through this, knowing that he's sitting there looking all smug. It will happen to him.
But you wear contact lenses.
Yeah, but that doesn't give me bionic eyes. You can still be long sighted, but you can still So I'm short sighted, so I've got contact lenses to correct that.
But you've got some long sight fade now. So what you need is some brilliantly stylish bifocals.
Bifocals.
Some milk bottle tops.
That's pretty much where you're going, unless you just buy the... So sometimes Emma and I will both be sitting there and we'll have these cheapy reading glasses on the end of our nose that we can sort of look up and see the telly clearly.
So that's contact lenses and reading glasses combined. Yeah.
Isn't that bad?
See, I hate wearing glasses.
And me, which is why I wear contact lenses.
And I can't, and it's very upsetting.
But you're wearing them now. Obviously, we used to video the podcast.
And I take my glasses
off. You have to take them off so you don't get the glare.
Yeah, I can wear them now so I can see you.
Excellent.
It's far more threatening now.
Right. So where were we? Eat That Frog. Yeah, brilliant book, because I think, I've got to be honest, and I struggle with this sometimes. Sometimes I think lists, schedules, all these task prioritization apps, almost like I worry can sometimes suck any fun and creativity out of a business, especially if you are in a creative industry. But there comes that realization that shit does need to get done. So even if you're fighting against the need to have lists, if you're not getting stuff done, or your team isn't, by the time they need to be getting stuff done, it needs addressing.
Do you
all sounds
want to know
great.
my long-term goal? Because I'm a great believer in knowing what you've got to get done. I'm not a great believer in writing lists. Mm-hmm. I think there's certain characters that can spend an awful lot of time writing a list and not much time ticking it off.
Oh yeah, filling with the paper clips, Emma calls it.
Yeah. And so, we use Monday.com to prioritise our tasks here because it avoids people sitting there writing lists to an extent. But
lists can't be centralised. There's a bit of an anti-digital thing where lots of people talk about the importance of pen and paper notebooks, and and if you write things down using a proper pen and paper, you're more likely to remember them. So I understand how that can work, especially from a journaling point of view. But if you're running a team and they're all doing tasks, and it's helpful for people to know other tasks people are involved in, you need to just fucking go online and stop being so Luddite about it.
So my goal...
Luddite-ish? Maybe. Luddite? No, I don't know.
Backwards.
Yeah, there we go.
My goal is to never have more than 3 things on my list on any given day, which is, you've seen my list at the moment. It's about 15 things.
3?
Yeah.
Wow.
So Just a lot of the reading I've been doing. A book I'm reading at the moment called The Happiness Advantage.
Yeah, I haven't got very far with that.
You haven't?
No, it's a joke. I'm saying you've not got very far.
I'm not very happy.
Who's written that?
I don't even know the author. I am really enjoying the book, but it's just taking me a while to get through, basically, because I haven't been that happy.
So what's the goal of the book?
The goal of the book...
Find...
The goal of the book is to demonstrate how much more productive you are when you're in a positive frame of mind. And that might not necessarily be work productive. That could be relationship productive or DIY productive. It's just about how...
Sounds like a book Hannah's bought for you.
No, I bought it for myself. I'm very self-aware of what a miserable git I am. But it's basically the guy went to Harvard. Roughly 99% of the people at Harvard are under tremendous pressure because they're all competing with each other to be the cleverest minds in America. And then there's 1% that just really, really thrive there. And so this guy started to study it, and there's just these people who operate on a happy mindset, as he puts it. I would say positive mindset, because I think happiness is almost like the opposite of sadness. And actually, if you're at peace, you're neither happy nor sad. But positive frame of mind about how they approach things. So they don't approach things through fear. They don't approach things through carrot or stick. They're much more about, okay, by doing this, how am I making my day better, or how am I making my wife's day better, or how am I making the world a better place, whatever it might be. And therefore those people go on to really succeed in life because they've set that mindset of putting themselves in. Even when bad things happen, they look for the positive in it.
Sounds like hard going.
Oh, it's a bloody good book. Good book.
Engaging read.
Yeah, very engaging, yeah, because the guy's very positive, funnily enough. But anyway, the point being, he says, and several other books that I've read recently say, that if you've got more than 5 tasks on your list, something's wrong, because...
We're talking about a business owner or anyone?
Well, mostly I read business books, so normally business tasks. But they're basically saying, if you're the owner of a business and you've got more than 5 tasks on your list, you're not delegating properly is one of the things. You're also not prioritising properly because you must be doing stuff that you shouldn't be.
That's a good point.
And you're also a slave to the small tasks in your business, and that can't be good either long term. It's not a scalable solution if you're getting dragged into all this stuff left, right, and centre. So I'm trying to get better at, we call it our A tasks. If we're talking Eat That Frog, I'm trying to get better at prioritising my A tasks and knowing what's a valuable A task. So recording a podcast is a valuable A task for the business. But previously, I think it's easy to fall into the mindset of, oh shit, that client's been on the phone, I better get back to them, or nobody's checked the post today, or you can and actually, if it's something's an A task, you should be ashamed of yourself if you leave having not got that done.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a good title for a book because it just sums it all up. It's like those nasty jobs that most people would just want to put off and put off and put off. Get it done early doors. But I think it's really, really hard to delegate. It's something all these years later I still struggle with. And I think a lot of business owners do, because it's hard to let go. Sometimes it's hard to see the long-term benefits of that short-term pain of training someone how to do it. Because, they can't do it as well as me, and it will take them so long. I might as well just do it myself. And I think that's something that some business owners, to be honest, unless they're willing to learn, can never let go of stuff like that. And that's why they end up with a list with so many things on. And like you say, if they're not making the boat go faster, well, you got to do something about it. If you can't, that's your problem.
Yeah.
God, it's deep, isn't it?
Real deep.
It is hard to... I mean, we know some business owners now who are sole traders, and they're happy doing that because they know they could just never employ. They'd be fucking awful. I know we don't always get it right, but they'd be awful bosses. They'd be micromanaging till the cows come home.
And I think it's tremendously difficult to go from being a sole trader to being an employer. We've both done it, and we
have to learn all the time. Handling people it's you've got to learn how to do it.
You have to relearn how to run a business. That's the thing I found. When it's all on you, yes, it can be a very uncomfortable place at times, but also you can sort stuff when you've got tiers of management and staff and whatever it might be. It's really strange sometimes when something's going well or something's going wrong, and you've got to delegate that task. It can feel really you at risk of feeling quite precious about those things. I guess.
Yeah. So I suppose if you've got a to-do list and it's really big, you do need to ask yourself those honest questions about which of these, I suppose Rob Moore will call them the income generating tasks. What are the A tasks of stuff? No matter how nasty and unpleasant it may be, you need to get this shit done to make your boat go faster. And those have to take priority over all the paperclip shuffling and all the nice little stuff, the nice little jobs and the Excel calculations and that little blog you want to write and stuff. It's like, what can be outsourced? The 4-hour work week, how old's that book now? But so much of it is about delegation and outsourcing that still has relevance today.
Yeah. Well, we know a guy in Scotland, don't we, that basically seems to take inquiries in, outsources them to the relevant person and makes half the money for himself.
My mate, the dog walker, £10 an hour or a walk or whatever it is, he takes £5, gives £5 to the dog walker. Obviously, they're walking 5 dogs at a time or whatever. Happy days. He does the marketing of the business and splits the money with the doer.
Yeah.
Simple yet effective, shall we say. You need to follow them. They take... I don't know how he does it. He takes the most amazing pictures of the dogs that come to stay with him.
Really?
Literally gets them lined up for proper photographs. I don't know how he does it.
Bloody hell, he wouldn't be able to do that with my dog.
Well, that's what I keep thinking about R2. My brother-in-law makes his dog beds for a living, so he came round with a couple of beds to use my dogs as models. Well, one dog just pissed all over the floor because she got all excited and nervous. The other dog ran away and hid, so we ended up just having to use one of our cats. But they're quite big cats, so it worked well.
We had a win with our dog this weekend.
Go on.
So, for if you like a staffy, our dog's an attractive staffy, and my wife posts about him quite a lot on Instagram and stuff. Anyway, we got a free bandana in the post as long as we take a picture of him wearing it.
Cool.
So we were chuffed with that.
Why do dogs wear bandanas?
Well, because ours is a pirate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't think that George the Pirate should have known. Because I know it really winds Emma up when you see really young children with them, because a lot of parents use them for dribbling and stuff, don't they?
Well, instead of a bib?
Basically, bibs are...
Like a neckerchief type thing.
Yeah, exactly. So bibs obviously for food. Bibs, neckerchiefs, what else I call them? Bandanas. Are used for basically because babies dribble a lot, and so just saves you having to get a tissue out. You're just always there.
You've got to be real with yourself, though. If you're wearing it around your neck, it's a neckerchief. It's only really a bandana if it's on your head, surely.
Yeah. So have you got a picture of George with wearing a bandana on his head then?
No, it's a neckerchief.
Oh, okay. Does he dribble?
Well, if he does, he doesn't dribble on his back. So anyway, we got a free dog bandana.
That's good.
Yeah, we're quite chuffed with that.
Yeah, well, your wife rocks Instagram, doesn't she? So
she's very if you want to follow a cool wildlife page, Utterly Outdoorsy, some cool stuff on there.
Awesome. Right, George. Right, what are we talking about? Right, frogs.
Well, it's that not being able to see the wood for the trees. How do you get shit done? As a business owner, basically, depending on what mindset you walk into the office in, there's going to be a lot of shit to deal with every day. Always.
If you don't like spinning plates, that's for sure. You might have to ask yourself whether you're cut out for this, or find the best manager in the world.
Yeah, there's always going to be a lot to do. And I know...
And I like that.
That our business is no better or worse today than it was 2 weeks ago. But 2 weeks ago, I was absolutely on my knees, couldn't see the wood for the trees. Today, pretty chilled. The only difference is, and the analogy I heard, which was from some trusted business friends, was if you put all your washing in the tumble dryer, it's all jumbled up in the tumble dryer. If you take it out and fold it and put it on the side, you've got the same amount of shit, but it's neat and organised. And it's really hit home with me that it's such a simple thing to say, but essentially you're always going to have a lot of shit. So your choices are muddle your way through it, or put it into some sort of order and prioritise it. And I think that applies not just to business; it applies to all walks of life. You've always got the people whose house you go around and they're always a bit untidy, and you just think, bloody hell, how do you live like this? Or the family relative that's always too busy to bother with your kid's birthday or whatever it might be. and you wonder why, because you know you've always got way more to do than them. But it's to do with time management and mindset.
And some, I suppose, being busy is being like stressed. That people's perception of it is different. Like I've yet to meet a business owner that isn't always busy, and then you actually meet some, and you're like, you're really busy. All right, what are you up to at the moment? And it's like, oh my god, I could do that in half an hour. It's like every bit. Oh, you're just so stressed. Got so much on. What are you stressed about? It's like your mate who was stressed because he hadn't been affected by lockdown at all. We had, and his idea of stress was because his Amazon parcel had gone missing. Remember that? And you've got to be understanding people's perception and stuff. But yeah, us as business owners, we like to always think we're busy. And if that's busy making the boat go faster, happy days, I bow down to you. If it's busy shuffling paper clips or doing shit that you shouldn't be doing, especially if you're paying for staff and you know that they should be doing some jobs, but you're doing it for whatever reason, just because it's easy or whatever, that's your fault.
Yeah.
And things will not get better. You will not become more efficient unless you do address that.
Yeah, no, I forgot about the Amazon parcel. That tickles me. But I think as well, I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before, when you go to networking, or even if you network on Zoom now, and you ask most business, oh, how's things? Now, most of them, 80% of businesses, oh, real busy. I just think that's such a shit response to that question. I'd never say that. It's weird. I
just will talk like, busy doing what?
Yeah, you should do that. but yeah, I always say, ticking over. Yeah, ticking over. But then I've found, since we've kind of changed our networking style and changed the sort of businesses we mix with now, actually mix with a lot more business owners that are willing to share what's going wrong, rather than boast about how busy they are. And I respect that a lot more, I think, where someone can actually turn around and say to me, well, this hasn't really worked out for me. And then someone pipes up from across the room, oh, that happened to me last year. This is what I did about it.
So is that a willingness to be more open or a willingness to be more honest? Because I think if a business owner turned around to me and said, oh, yes, it's great, thanks, Andy. Yeah, I've been spent the whole day yesterday with my kids, golfing next week and going to break. I'd be like, wow, that's brilliant. Because I think there'll be other business owners like, oh, right, business not good then. Oh, right. Oh, God, I wish I could have that. Oh, I'm just too busy. I'm just too busy shuffling my paper clips.
I think it might be about you found yourself in the right network when people talk to you like that. And I spent a long time in networking groups where either the decision makers weren't in the room.
Annoying.
So therefore, everybody thinks they're busy.
One way networking, love it.
Yeah, so you get that false professionalism of, oh yeah, really busy, yeah, we're recruiting at the moment, oh fuck off. Where now, I'm fortunate enough to be in rooms of people where I'm maybe the smallest business in the room, and I'm listening to them talk about problems that we might have in the future, or problems that we're going through that they've already solved. And because they're experienced business owners, successful business owners, they talk about problems in terms of solutions rather than talking about problems in terms of busyness.
Yep. I think it's so important. Like, we talk about networking, so yeah, like networking face to face whenever that comes back, Zoom, online, Facebook groups, whatever it might be. It's so important, because if you're spending a lot of time with these people and they're just joining you in the negatives, you're not really offering any kind of solutions or recommended reading or podcasts or anything. It's a bit of a waste of time, really, because like you say, networking, you almost want to be the shittest person in the group. You want the others to pull you up, to think, right, I want to be at the top. Because if you are the person at the top and maybe you feel quite special because you're the one helping everyone and everyone comes to you for advice, but okay, if you're being philanthropic about it, okay, that's fine, but otherwise it's a bit of a waste, really, because they're all getting something and you're not. I want to be the shittest person in the room.
Yeah.
Fuck, right, God, look at all these guys. Right, I need to work even smarter. So start climbing up the rungs.
Yeah.
And get pulled up rather than pushed down or worse, plateau.
Yeah, so good for mindset as well. So good in terms of walking into a room and feeling like there's so much for you to do to reach what some of these people are achieving, and yet those people want to see you do it. And there's very, very few networking groups where you'll get that. But if you do find it...
And very few groups pre-qualify. I've got to be honest, if I was launching a networking club, I might not pre-qualify either. But see this all the time. Physical networking group. Also, I've joined a Facebook group a couple of weeks ago, and already you can spot the self-appointed leaders of that group. But there's no pre-qualifications being going on. So you've got these guys and girls dishing their advice throughout the group. And oh, that's brilliant. Hang on.
Who are they?
This guy's full of shit. What he's teaching you is actually wrong, because there's been no pre-qualification at all. So that's something to be aware of in the circles you mix. That, right, okay, does this guy or girl, are they a successful business owner? Do they know what they're on about? Because just because they're paying money to be a part of a group doesn't make them
they might
more
have had
knowledgeable.
a windfall.
Yeah, absolutely. It's but you see this a lot in groups, and and again that's offline and online. That there's always a few self-appointed people who've got an opinion about everything, and especially when it comes to task prioritization, to getting things done, to being smarter, to learning. Generally speaking, I find these people, they're not really willing to learn.
Hi, Emily at Codebreak. I just wanted to check if you've booked your discovery call with Andy or Joel yet. It's a free 20-minute chat to talk about your goals and how we can help you achieve them. Visit codebreak.co.uk to book.
Awesome.
Nice one, Emily.
When are we going to record some new ones of those?
Don't know. Alex could do one.
Oh, yes. Alex, been with us a week already. Doing well. Always finds a good writer. Very hard to find a good writer, got to be honest.
Seems to manage her tasks quite well.
But it's hard. Maybe it's because we're all sort of social animals, that and to some extent, a lot of us are quite people-pleasing. I know I am. That's how I was brought up. That out of politeness, you listen to these people. But you've got to remember, like, sometimes they might not know as much as you think they do. And that's why when you've got an established author, I know someone like Brian Tracy who wrote Eat That Frog, he knows his stuff. He's accredited. He's proven
his research,
proven his worth. Bob down the road, who you never met before, who's just paying this networking group 10 quid a week, he might not have the same kind of knowledge or clout to benefit your business.
And that's not just necessarily financial. If someone's been a university professor for 20 years in a set subject, chances are they're going to know their shit about that thing. Or if somebody's been a receptionist for 30 years of their life, chances are they're going to be pretty good at how to answer the phone. You can learn something off anyone. It's just you've got to be really careful about some of the crowds you mix in. And I guess for me, I did a lot of business in my early years of business based on empathy. So can I help this person? Not should I help this person? Or can I listen to this person? Not should I listen to this person? And it took me a long time to realise there's a lot of people out there that will take up a lot of your time, but they have absolutely no intention of growing their business. And that's a really difficult thing to get your head around, that they're quite happy with their lot, and they go to the networking and they do whatever they do with their businesses, which I fully respect. But that isn't going to put me in the right mindset for getting through my day. It's like, I know that I used to go to a network club, come back to the office and feel a bit low and wonder why. And I know now that it was because I was flogging a dead horse for about three years. I'd come and look at my task list, which was suddenly a lot more imposing because I'd spent 3 hours of that morning networking. And then it was a real slog to get through that task list, and I didn't know why. And actually, it was because subconsciously I knew I'd wasted my time that morning. I
mean, there are some, if we talk about breakfast networking, there are some groups who meet at 6 a.m. And one of the I think there's two rationales behind that. One, it shows people are willing to get up at silly o'clock, so they are that committed to their business, and that kudos to them. But secondly, it also means you're in the office for like 8:30, 9 o'clock to attack your day early on. Like I say, if you're getting in at like 11 o'clock in the morning and you've got this massive to-do list, it really is time to reanalyze things and work out, right, what am I getting out of this? And of course, networking, no matter what networking you talk about, doesn't have to purely be about business. It's about meeting potential suppliers. It's about learning. Like I say, if consistently you're coming away not being a better business person, you've got to make some hard decisions. Like if you're in a Facebook group and you're just constantly getting battered by notifications that aren't relevant to you. There's constantly time in the groups being hogged by the few experts I've already mentioned. Do I need to be a part of this group anymore? What am I getting out of this?
Yeah.
And it's hard to say stuff like that, really, without coming across as a bit of a twat.
And you feel like you're betraying the few people in there that have shown you loyalty. But don't forget that you can let them know what your intentions are, give them a business card, invite them for a coffee once a month, once every couple of months, and keep those contacts alive. You're not letting them down. And that's really important. But equally, if you find a networking group where you do learn something every time you go, you might not get any business out of it, but if you learn something every time you go, you end up in the office in a mindset ready to get through your list. That's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah. I wish I understood all this back in the day, because again, I just almost part of me liked flying by the seat of my pants. What am I doing today? I haven't got a clue. This is brilliant. When I think about some of my friends who are like stuck on the tube for 2 hours, getting to work, sitting in an office, moving paper from one desk to another, then sitting in the tube for 2 hours on the way home. I thought, here's me. I love the freedom. I still love the freedom, but realise that, again, from a scalability and a sustainability point of view, if you want to grow your business, whether that's on your own or with a team, you need to use what's out there.
Systemise.
All these things. I mean, my God, if you tried talking to me about systemization and processes 3 years ago, I would have not a step in business with you.
Even now, it sucks the life out of us sometimes.
I hear that word and I'm like, oh God, yeah. But when it's done...
Some of the stuff, I mean, we've had an example today. Emily has sent something out in the post today based on a system that we designed a year ago. And it's, as far as we know, has worked perfectly. And it's so good that you and I have forgotten that system because we don't need to know it anymore. It's just in place and it happens. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how it all should be. But it takes a lot of work to get there.
Yeah, if there's a task that's doing over and over and over again and you're finding yourself having to remember how to do it or how to teach the same person, or someone new joins your team, you have to train them again. It's like, get it systemized, get it written up, get it videoed, whatever it is, put it in as an accessible, centralized database. So when Sue joins your team and Sue wants to know how you do something, there we go.
Yeah.
Have a look in the Bible, it's there.
So you're a busy bloke. Busy work, busy family life, busy fitness journey, busy all sorts. How do you see the wood for the trees?
I say no.
Yep.
And that is, I think it's the hardest, perhaps most rewarding thing. I think, did we mention in the previous podcast about how no can be empowering? Whether that's no to a client, no to a prospect, no to a request from the team, no to lunch with my mum, because I know if I do that, I'd have to sacrifice time with my kids that afternoon, or whatever it might be, or saying no to a demanding client so I can go and have lunch with my mum. And no is it's liberating, for want of a better word.
Okay. And then all those things you said yes to, because obviously there's still be stuff you have to say yes to.
Yeah, not much. What do you do? Nothing. I just sit. Nothing to do.
How do you make sure you're all right with that stuff? Because, well, it's Monday today. You and I know that sometimes on a Monday we'll come in and we don't know what we're going to be doing until we get there.
Trust in the team, and it's hard, and it's probably hard for them as well. But letting go and I keep saying empowering. I need to think of a better word than that, but it's bandied about so much these days. But once the team have the information they need to do something, to empower them to do it, and for them to know that I'm there if they need a hand, but otherwise that box is off my desk and it's with them. And there's so many stuff that I've still got stuff now that I know one of the teams should be doing, but I haven't quite let go of that. So that's something I'm continually working towards, because we got to make sure that, we record our podcasts, get my Marketing Monday done. The email that goes out every Monday. Look at those A-grade tasks, make sure they're done. Everything else usually comes down to trusting your team, and for me, saying no. And to be honest, I think I'll probably be saying no a bit more often.